Here's my spreadsheet for my 2-week trip on the Appalachian Trail. I do a spreadsheet for everything, and for this one we're just going to focus on the columns for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. On this trip I have 4 opportunities for resupply. First in Duncanon, and so this will be the food that goes into my backpack when I start hiking. These meals will be in a box that I send to Kind of Outdoorsy in Duncanon. This night I'm going to eat in town. I'll be at a hotel, so I'll have breakfast in a hotel here. I'll drive up to where my next section is going to be. And then as a group, we're going to eat dinner. This section I'm doing by myself, but right here I'm meeting up with my AT hiking group. And I've mentioned before, I hike a week with them every summer, but being I'm retired, I can add on. Last summer I added on 3 weeks, and this summer I'm just adding on a week. So once I meet up with them, this is the food bag I'll start using. We'll be resupplied with lunch, probably pizza or maybe a sub sandwich on Tuesday at noon. So then food bag 4, I can pick that up. We got breakfast together, some dinners together at restaurants. We're going to be staying at the Warwick Drive-In. Hopefully I'll get to have a hot dog and French fries and maybe pizza and popcorn. And then for food bag 5, it's only 2 meals, breakfast and dinner, or breakfast and lunch. And then we have dinner together. Saturday we'll drive home. So what I'm going to do, the strategy is I'm going to put my 2 heaviest meals in food bag 5, the next heaviest in 4, next heaviest in 3, and then work towards this being all of my lighter meals because those are the most numerous, and then that'll be the next heaviest. So light, heavier, 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 heavier. But with a reduced number of meals, the actual weight will be less. So I'm going to start first going backwards, picking out my 2 heaviest meals. By far, my heaviest breakfast meal is my cold soaked oatmeal. 2 packets of oatmeal, some brown sugar, and maybe a 1/4 cup of trail mix to give it some crunch. And of course, I always throw in a little bit of extra cinnamon too. This is by far the heaviest, double any other meal. So this is going to be my breakfast for meal 5. My heaviest lunch option is 2 single slices of Spam with a pouch of jalapeno Velveeta cheese sauce. I discovered this last summer at Pine Grove Furnace State Park at their grocery store, there where you do the half-gallon challenge. That's the only place I saw it. I had to go to a dollar store across town. It's actually a Dollar Tree, and they had some. And the other Dollar Trees around, when I called them, they hadn't had this for years, they said. So it's really good. It adds a little bit of spice to it. And I've mentioned before I like spicy food. This is by far the heaviest meal. It doesn't include 2 tortillas, which I'm not going to buy until right before I leave. But that's consistent across all of these meals, where I have packets of tuna chicken, this Spam. They all require 2 tortillas. So those wash out. That doesn't change the weight difference. So this is lunch, meal bag 5. As I'm working from the heavier foods to the lighter foods, I'm now up to food bag 1, where I'll need 4 breakfast, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, and of course some snacks. For the breakfast, I'm going to go with bars. Laro bars, everybody knows and likes. Power Crunch, I'd never heard of, but it's a couple 100 calories, so between the 2, it's a 400 calorie breakfast. Bobo bars I like, Pop-Tarts. Another Power Crunch, and a Nature's Bakery. Again, 300 to 400 calories for breakfast. For lunch, I'll be going with tortillas and mini pepperonis. The tortillas and the cheese to go in it, I'll pick up at the last minute. Another Spam lunch with the jalapeno cheese sauce. And for dinners, some beef stroganoff, Knorr pasta side, or actually it's a Knorr rice side with a cheese sauce, the spicy cheese sauce, and dehydrated shredded chicken. Potatoes with stuffing with the dehydrated chicken, shredded chicken. So that's going to be food bag number 1. That's what I'm going to be starting my trip with. And of course, I'll throw in bars and trail mix, fruit leather, coconut treats for snacks for each day. For dinner, I'm still looking for the heaviest meals, and this one at 316 is the heaviest remaining. Instant potatoes are in here, some stuffing, and instead of a pouch of meat, I've got dehydrated shredded chicken. So that'll take 10 minutes or maybe a little bit longer to rehydrate. I showed you how to dehydrate the chicken in a previous video. And then a similar instant potatoes with some spicy tuna to make it taste good. So those are my meals for food bag 3, and I'll throw in some snacks. Usually some bars, fruit leather, coconut treats. So we're down to my last bag. I actually have to carry 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 dinners. It's my biggest bag, so I went for the lightest possible food for each meal. I'm gonna start the day with bars and some Pop-Tarts, and you'll notice that I only have 3 meals here. And that's because I always pack too much food, and I'm betting that I'll have food left over from my first food bag. If not, before I start using food bag 2, I'll be in Damascus and I'll know how much food I've consumed out of my first food bag. And so for this food bag, I can decide to go up to a grocery store. They've got one up, I think it's less than a mile west of the trail. And there's also a Quick Mart right next to downtown. And so if I need to, I can easily buy some bars or something tasty, maybe a bar of cheese or something like that. So that's breakfast. I got 3 breakfasts with 1 known to be missing. A lunch of that chicken salad again that I like so much. I'll pick up the tortillas to go with Justin's peanut butter, and some cheese and tortillas to go with the summer sausage. For dinner, chicken fajita with rice, chicken tikka with rice, pasta bolognese, and one of my favorites, the Mountain House chili mac. Now, you may not know Real Termot or the Summit brand. These I found when I was hiking the King's Trail in Sweden a couple years ago. And so they were really good, and I brought them home. So this is food bag number 2, and I'll weigh them all up and let you know how much each food bag weighs. I'm getting ready to make my trail mix. It'll all go into this big bowl. I'll mix it up. Like usual, I put in some Bobby Sue's, some like it hot nuts. I like spicy food. Cashews are good for you, fat, calories, protein. Here we've got some coconut macaroon almonds, way better than plain almonds. And even better than the coconut macaroon almonds are chocolate covered almonds, and some chocolate covered peanuts. This you might not recognize. Dehydrated pineapple chunks. It'll give a little bit of chewy to contrast with the crunchy of the others. And of course the flavor of the pineapple is very appealing. So that's what I'm taking care of tonight. Gonna mix up some bags, and it'll last me for at least 2 weeks on the AT. I've taken the Bobby Sue's Some Like It Hot Nuts and I put them in a bowl rather than straight into the big orange bowl with the M&Ms, because what I want to do is scoop them out and then try to shake off some of that powder. See all this powder over here? It goes to the bottom of the bag, and it is something that'll get on your clothes, and bears will smell it, raccoons will smell it. What I want to do is just get the nuts out, shake off all the powder I can, and drop it in. Not very exciting, but it should have a good result. I was able to get all of the spicy almonds and other mixed nuts out of there into the mixture with the peanut M&Ms. Now I've got all of this left, and it's really good, but I'm not sure what to do with it. What can you do with the almost a seasoned powder? And for my final snack for the day, I'm going to use my coconut treats. I've shown you in a previous video how I make those. I dehydrate them so it drives out the moisture and increases the calories per ounce. The sharp coconut pieces, as well as sharp pieces on other dehydrated foods, can poke holes through plastic. So I've put them in the wax paper pouch that I found. And I'll show you a picture of it close up here. One treat I've been bringing along, it doesn't weigh too much, are tea bags. Last year on the Appalachian Trail, a friend offered to share some of his tea with me. I tried it, and it's sitting around. We don't usually have a campfire, but sitting around talking, we'll talk for 2-3 hours. It's kind of nice to just have that hot tea to sip on. All of my food bags are packed, and I want to share with you some of the extra things I'm bringing along. Dehydrated diced jalapenos. That can go into anything that is rice or potatoes. It just adds some flavor. You do have to rehydrate it. You can't drop it in the instant potatoes and start eating right away. It does need to absorb the moisture and release the spicy oils. I make some hot chocolate with dried milk already blended in. I just put that in my cup, stir it up with some hot water, and sip on it. My apple slices that I've shown you how I make. Dehydrated pineapple rings, you've seen that too. So this is something I'm trying for the first time. I found it up at the Dollar Tree. It's cinnamon candy, and each one is only 20 calories. So they're more for enjoyment and for sucking on. They're not really for energy. Here's some chocolate pudding mixed in with some dry milk already. Once the pudding sets up, I'll sprinkle it on with the dehydrated banana bread. Real crunchy. I like food with crunches. I like food with spices. I don't like jalapenos in my pudding, but I do like crunchies in my pudding. Took an old medicine jar, put my mayonnaise and mustard in there. I don't want that stuff squishing and getting everywhere. And I've been using Noon tablets lately in some of my water. I try to be careful not to have it in my water bladder so that I can have it only in my smart water bottle, so I can actually put that up in the bear bag, because they do have a scent, and I don't care to have bears come and visit me at night. I have all of my food bags, all 5 of them put together. Got them weighed. So the first food bag for 10 meals weighs 3.3 kilograms or 6 pounds 10 ounces. Food bag 2 for 12 meals weighs only 2.4 kilograms or 5.4 ounces. And I'm not sure why that is so much lighter than the first one. I, of course, intentionally got lighter meals to put in the food bag too, because there's so many meals in there. But also I've got some things in the first food bag, like the mayonnaise, that will be there for the whole week. Food bag 3 is for 7 meals, 1.9 kilograms or 4 pounds 3 ounces. Fourth food bag for 4 meals, 3 pounds or 1.4 kilograms. And my food bag 5, which is only 2 meals, 0.8 kilograms or 1 pound and 10 ounces. So one thing I didn't mention is that food bag 2 is going to go into a box. I'm going to ship it to Duncanon for a resupply. So when I get there on Monday, I'll pick up my second food bag and have lunch, and then decide what I need to do for breakfast in case I shorted myself on food. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to have extra. So that's my food plan for 2 weeks on the Appalachian Trail. So here's my plan for the next 2 weeks. So today I drove over to Jonestown in Pennsylvania. There's a Holiday Inn there, about 2.4 off of the AT. So that's my end goal for this week. And then Christy, the shuttle driver, who I'll introduce you to, she brought me back down to Carlisle, where I'm now just started on the trail. So Thursday, I should be back up to Jonestown with my car. From there, I'm gonna go up into New York, and I'll give you more details as we get closer on that. We're gonna hook up with my hiking friends, and then we'll hike in from New York back into New Jersey for a week. And that's our annual hiking week. We go a week on the AT every summer. Last year I did a month, met up with them at Pine Grove Furnace State Forest, or State Park. You may remember that from an earlier video series. So I got 6.4 up to the first shelter here, and beautiful day today. And so far, I hate to jinx it, this is a nice trail. This is highly recommended. I don't know if it's going to change. And of course, Pennsylvania does suck kind of at the north end. Last year, you might remember, I had to bail at Swatara Gap, which is where I'm going to end this year. Last year, the rocks were just too bad. And it was slapping down my every footstep. I was slapping down and hurting my feet, my ankles, my knees, my hips even started to hurt. And I just decided that was not a good choice to keep doing that. And so I took a few days off at kind of outdoorsy and Duncanon, and picked up again, headed south from Carlisle. And so that's the gap I'm going to fill in now, hiking from Carlisle up to Swatara Gap, which is real close to Jonestown. Now, hoping to see a bear. I'm going to try to keep my eyes up more and look to the side more. So I think I'm walking past the bears, and they're just looking at me saying, who's that person over there, and ignoring me. So that's my goal, at least one bear. I'm about halfway between Jonestown and Carlisle. Shuttle driver Christy, she's helped me a couple other times in the past. She saved me last year when I had to bail at Swatara Gap. Having fun today. I like natural trails, but boy, am I making speed on the raised board here. I bet there's water under here a lot of times. The river's right there. Actually smells like a river. Well, here's part of the reality of doing a long distance hike, even short distance hike of a week or two. I've been going about an hour north of Carlisle, and I get a call from my wife. She's driving from Ohio up to Wisconsin, and some big rock kind of thing came and smashed and exploded the sunroof in the car as she's driving through Chicago. So she's going to be able to handle it from up there, but it's one of those things where, you know, you really want to be with your family at the times when they need you to be there, and I just can't be there. It's not even reality. Good morning. This is Friday. Hiked in the 6.4 miles last night from Carlisle. And the trail coming in was beautiful, real flat, wide. Clearly lots of people walked it. And I was making great progress right until the last mile or so where it started going up. Very steady climb up. a few rocks. It was a nice trail. It wasn't really that bad. Nice steady climb. And so I was huffing and puffing when I got to the top. Shelter area here, you can see behind me, nice picnic table. We had a nice fire last night. I'm gonna get my roses, buds, and thorns. And these trips, my first rose is always, I'm just able to still be out here and do this. And as I'm getting older, I know it's my last hike is coming. I just don't know when it is. But then last night too, another rose. Just great friendly people here. They've been hiking together. They're flip-flopping. They started in Harper's Ferry with the intent of going to Katahdin and then flipping down and finish up later. And they've been hiking together for a few weeks, so they've got a relationship going. They were real friendly, welcoming. At all ages too, my age all the way down to young kids in their 30s, I think, maybe high 20s. So really nice. I don't really have a thorn, except I guess the weather forecast changed, but that's maybe a negative bud. Today's still going to be beautiful. I'm going to try to go all the way into Duncanon. My plan was to go to the next shelter, which is 7 miles, but another 5, and it puts me in Duncanon. Puts me another day ahead of schedule, and I think I can do it. I'm not going to hurt myself. I think I'm going to do it. And buds, getting to Duncanon and picking up my resupply box, which has, I was supposed to pick it up Sunday. Today's Friday. If I pick up my supply box, even tomorrow morning, I picked up an extra day of food. So that's okay, I guess. Weight doesn't hurt you. So, I'm not sure what the views are going to be like today, but I'll stop and talk to you once in a while. There's nothing more beautiful than sunrise over the privy. How do you feel when you come to a water crossing like this? Me, I feel relieved because the trail goes forward. Somebody had their 200-mile mark here. I'm not sure 200 miles from where. I would have to check. Climbing up a hill gives me a chance to take a break if I see something that might be of interest. If you followed my videos, you know that logs across the trail mean that's not the trail. There's even another one down here. And at some point, they did this. But if you're like me, I'm walking along quite often looking at my feet, not looking around for bears, and not looking up in the trees for blazes. So, but that's what this is, and I get to catch my breath a little bit. Beautiful up here today. Probably in the 50s, sun shining. Just crossed a little bridge down below. There's a backpacker sitting on the bridge, and a little cone of sunshine, just absolutely beautiful. And a little stream was trickling by. It's the kind of place to be a nightmare later in the summer because of the mosquitoes, but no mosquitoes. It was just beautiful. Do you guys want to see the view? I guess we can head over that way. Oh, that is cool. I know I give thanks to the clubs that do the trail maintenance out here all the time. It's just wonderful what they do and the hard work they put in. And I think everybody should help out sometime and kind of get a feeling for how much it is. But you don't actually have to drag big heavy rocks all over the place. or cut down trees. I put those logs there, and you know, that's a sign that that's not the trail, because I was going that way to check out, and then you hear my sticks fall. That's where the trail goes. So you can do that too. You can do your own trail maintenance. It helps out. Now, just after I got here, Belinda caught up to me. She was staying at the Arlington shelter last night too. She's going to do a flip-flop. Started down by Shenandoah, go up to Katahdin, and then flip down and do the bottom half. A little windy right here, so she went over the hill and down into where it's some sunshine down there and a little less wind. So sometimes I just wander along and I'm listening to podcast or music. I listen to the Grandma Gatewood audiobook and just kind of get in my own head and walk along. So I see here that the trail turns to the right, and clearly you can see where it goes here, right up this way. Kind of looks like, oh, maybe it used to go this way, so they put in a reminder. Like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, and going right past it, nothing to show you. But then I continued on. Yeah, I'm going straight, going straight, going straight, and you probably saw it and I didn't, because I was looking at my feet. The trail doesn't go straight, like I said. It doesn't go this way. It goes up. You gotta keep your head on straight. I don't always, but you need to. Well, my goal was to get up to the Cove Mountain Shelter sometime today, and I did that about 11 o'clock. So I could either sit there and just enjoy the peace, and I've done that before at other shelters, or I could continue on to Duncanon, which is only 4, maybe 5 miles at most. And so my legs felt good. So that's what I did. I made a reservation kind of outdoorsy. And so I'll be there in less than a mile. You can hear the traffic in the background. I've been listening to that for almost an hour. I would rather be hiking on trails like this. But no, I'm hiking on trails that go straight down and a lot of steps and stuff, and listening to the noise. And so that's not much fun. So, but I get in there, I get to take a shower a few days before I thought I would. Put on some clean socks. Probably have dinner at the pub tonight. That's the plan. The pub is actually the name of a pub. So there's kind of outdoorsy as you're going north, and then there's the Doyle, and about the same distance further is the pub. Across the street from the Doyle is a place called Goodies, and it's a great breakfast diner. So you can give them a shot too while you're here. So we're back in Duncanon, heading up to the pub for dinner. Check out that flag. Isn't that sweet? If you remember from a video from last summer, it was sad that they had flying. It was pretty disrespectful. And this is great. I'm a happy camper. Hey, good evening. Just want to catch up with you. I do the roses, buds, and thorns. So roses, I was able to call and get a bed here at kind of outdoorsy. I've been here before. You might remember from earlier videos. I spent about 4 days in Duncanon recovering. Swatara Gap and north just beat up all of my joints. So one of my roses, I was able to get the room here, and a lot of nice people I've met too. So a lot of socialization. We're all going to go have dinner and probably some drinks. Me, not so much maybe, up at a place called The Pub. And it turns out today's May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo. So I'm not sure what they're going to drink, but I'll be okay. terms of roses, buds, I'm really looking forward to the next 4 days. I'm actually a day and a half ahead of schedule. And so I'm expecting my rate to continue like that I'll still be ahead of schedule. I'll get back up to where my car's parked a couple days early, which gives me some options. And so I'm gonna ask some of the southbounders what they suggest. And I may just park someplace and enjoy the day. And the only thorns, remember, roses are good things, buds are things I'm looking forward to, and thorns are things that, not so good. The steps coming down into Duncanon, it's about an hour. Big stone steps with a high rise. That is, they were big steps. And coming down, they're big steps, and they're hard on the joints. But otherwise, the trail is real easy to follow. So, talk to you tomorrow. You may remember the last time I was here, the flag atop the Doyle Hotel was in extremely bad shape. And they've updated it. It's a new flag. Very happy. I know you probably want to see pictures of trees and valleys and rivers, but 3B ice cream is definitely recommended too. Oh, good morning. Today's Saturday. Had a good night's rest at kind of outdoorsy. It's a great hostel to stay at. It was only $25. Met a lot of people, again, the same people I met up at back at Darlington Shelter, and hooked up, made a bond with several of them. We went to The Pub, that's the name of the place, The Pub, for dinner, and it's a great place. They got all the beer and wine and whatever you might need. It's also got all the pub food, all the normal burgers, and I had a chili with jalapenos in it and onions, and you know that I like spicy food, so that went over real well with me. And had breakfast this morning with RP, Spot, and Root. And probably spent an hour. Breakfast took 10 minutes to eat, of course. Probably spent an hour just sitting around talking and chatting. And Spot is nursing some injuries, but I let him do that. He's 72 and hiked the trail several times. RP is carrying his son's ashes. I'm gonna start crying. RP is carrying his son's ashes to Katahdin. So you just can't imagine the horror of that. And Spot shared with us too that he lost a daughter to brain cancer when she was 29. And this is just horror that you can't imagine. But they're out here living their life and getting on day to day and somehow moving forward. I don't know how they do it. So, but my rose from yesterday was really meeting all those people, get to stay at kind of outdoorsy again, and dinner, and a whole mess of roses going on. Buds, I'm not looking forward to the climb today, going north out of Duncanon, but I am looking toward being up on top and making my way forward to either the next shelter or maybe the Peter's shelter. Just depends on what I feel like today. I got plenty of extra food and plenty of time. I'm a day and a half ahead of schedule already, and I just started 2 days ago. The only thorn from yesterday was the long climb down into Duncanon. It was more than an hour of down, and I am not complaining about the trail maintainers and the people who designed this and build it. They do a great job and they do a lot of work. Can't imagine moving those heavy stones. Have to weigh hundreds and hundreds of pounds each. The steps down were pretty big, so each one I had to contemplate and carefully lower one leg down and then bring the other one. It wasn't short little steps where you get your heart rate up because you're just taking them away step, 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 step. These were look at it, pause, step down, Okay, I survived that step down. Now let's look at the next one. And that was a good hour of doing that. And everybody was talking about that. Going southbound out of town, it would have been quite a challenge. So roses, buds, thorns. Yeah, it's been a great time. I'm feeling good, a little sore, but not bad at all. So hopefully there's a view, at least one view along the way up. And so I'll probably take a pause there and come back at you. Well, I've got a decision to make here. As you've seen in previous videos, I'm not a purist. I am hiking the Appalachian Trail, but if I were ever to hike the whole thing, I would never say that I hiked the whole thing. I would say I hiked it in sections. I'm okay taking shortcuts sometimes. A Blue Blaze is okay. I'm here for the experience. If I were to ever hike the entire Appalachian Trail and then claim that I did a through hike, I'd like to start in Georgia, finish on Katahdin. Maybe a flip-flop, I guess I'm okay with that. But until then, I'm a section hiker. So here I've got a choice. I can cut a mile off, but I'm pretty sure if I had a decent topo, it would tell me that this shortcut is a lot steeper. And also it doesn't have a beautiful view. And I haven't decided yet, am I gonna take a left turn here and go up the hill and cut a mile off, or I'm gonna go straight, enjoy the true Appalachian Trail. It's a little after 10 a.m. in the morning. The next shelter is at Clark's Ferry, I think, is a couple miles. You know, if you take a shortcut, it's a mile closer. But I've actually probably got enough time today to take the long way and still make it to is it Perry Mountain Shelter, I think is the next one north. And I wonder if I shouldn't do that. And so I guess I'll let you know. Right now, I still got to figure it out. Well, the decision has been made. I brought up Gaia and I was looking at the topo for the two trails. Far Out won't show you necessarily all the details of all the side trails, but Gaia will pull all that information in usually. This side trail Far Out does know about. I wanted to get a good look at the contour lines. And yeah, both the long version of this option and the short one, they both have some closely spaced topo lines, or contour lines. So there's some steep in both of them. I decided to go the longer route. I get a view out of that, and I actually have plenty of time to enjoy the day. So I'm gonna enjoy the day. So that's what I'm gonna do. I sure hope that's not a mistake. I want to share the beautiful trail with you. Just came through a short section, not eighth of a mile, maybe a quarter mile, I don't think so, of rock scrambles, having to let your foot down over a blind edge to find a foothold, hopefully on a solid rock. And yeah, that isn't as much fun as this. So this is the part I'm going to share. Well, I'm glad I took the long way around. Here's where the Susquehanna Trail comes in, and I enjoyed the hike. I'm glad I went that way. And we just got a little bit left to Clark's Ferry. Yeah. Far out says that there's a lot of tent spaces up near the AT, and that's where we are right now, at the top of the Blue Blaze, going down to Clark's Ferry Shelter. And there really is pretty much flat or just a slight incline to it. That's what I like, just a slight incline, have my head a little bit higher than my feet. Oh, made it to Clark's Ferry Shelter. I should have checked what time it is, but by noon at least it wasn't bad. So you look over here and you check out the bulletin board for all the information, critical information here. Always check out the bulletin board. It's actually kind of beautiful here. I haven't checked, but some other hikers told me that there's really no place to put up your tent here. It kind of looks like that, a little bit steep and lots of small trees. It's still real nice and quiet here. I might stay here for the afternoon, or I might move on. I'm gonna take a break and see what happens. All right, I found the bear box. So there's the back of the shelter. You can see the Clark's Ferry Shelter sign on the right side of the shelter. So come back up the hill. There's the trail. You end up coming right through here, and guess what? Help me if you can understand this. I'm a little confused. "20 feet away at most." I don't get it. I'm thinking, here's a tree, it goes up. Pretty much a lone branch out there. I think that's a place to hang the food bag. I can get a long way away from the trunk and way over where I can reach. I'm the same size as a bear. So that's going to be my attempt. That's where my food bag will go. There is a thing far out that says there's a bear canister near here someplace, but I sure haven't been able to find it.
Raisinets and all that stuff, and we just conveyor belted the whole thing in my mom's kitchen, and then we had it all organized in each of the 10 boxes. Like, I knew from this point to this point it's going to take me 6 days, so we need 6 of these. And
Oh, good morning. It's Sunday. I've spent a half hour silk blazing, decided to take a break, fill you in on yesterday. I am just overflowing with roses. Trail yesterday was interesting. The climb out of Duncanon wasn't as hard as it looks like on the map. It was a constant solid up, but it was okay. Talked to a lot of people. There's a young couple from around here someplace, and talked with them for a couple times, and walked along with a guy named Travis who does section hiking with some friends. I got to Clark's Ferry and I showed you the pictures of the shelter and the privy and all the good stuff. And I was contemplating, should I go on to Perry's Mountain Shelter, which I actually had time to do, and I think I had the ability, I had the energy and strength still. But it's just as I was making a decision, Root came around the corner, so he noticed the wasps that had nests actually built inside the Clarks Ferry shelter. So we got some water from the spring, just flowing real fast, clear, cold. Oh, just great water. And he had seen a sign for a camp area, which I had missed totally. I walked right past it. So we walked back, oh, maybe 0.2, and then down maybe 0.1 into this cool little valley, all green. Let's see, the word would be verdant, right? So anyway, it looked great. There's places for tents. As we looked up, though, all the good places for tents had widowmakers hanging over them, and not just some branch that might fall. These were tree trunks with a 2-foot diameter. These were real widowmakers. So we searched around, we were able to, like, turn your tent just a little bit right or left, and we were able to find a couple places for our tents. I was able to hang my bear bag, got on the second throw. Real proud of that. So we were settling, we were gathering firewood. There's a nice big fire ring down there by the tenting area. And with the scouts, I always tell them, oh, we need more, we need more, we need more. I never tell them, oh, that's enough. So finally, Ruth says, don't you think we have enough? And I go, yeah, duh. I don't know if I really know how much is the right amount, because I always tell the scouts to get more, because they burn everything they gather. So they might as well get some more. So we were getting that already, kind of thinking about dinner, and along comes Blackbird. So she comes down, and when she heard about the insects, the wasps at the shelter itself, she decided to stay with us because she's got a bee allergy, and there's no need to take a risk with that. And then we just had a most wonderful evening, sitting around talking, gathered a little bit more firewood, I made the fire, had dinner, just sat around, just talked the whole time, and even though it was hiker midnight, it was, approaching 9 o'clock, yeah, we stayed up until 10, and oh yeah, we stayed up past our bedtime, but still, it was just enjoyable talking, listening, just really cool. So that's, I don't know, my overflowing with, my dinner was about right. I had a little bit too much food, about 5-6 bites more than I wanted to eat, but it was really good. Mashed potatoes, stuffing, dehydrated shredded chicken, which I rehydrated, of course, as part of the process. It was just fantastic. I slept really good. Yeah, it was just a real good day. In terms of thorns, I don't know that I actually had any. There were a couple places on the trail I said it was interesting. Well, of course it's interesting, but that's what makes it fun. And so it was a good trail. Buds, I'm looking forward to getting to the Perry's Mountain Shelter. That's about 7 miles or so. And then I got to decide if I'm going to go another 5 miles to get to a tent spot. Rain's forecasted for 5 o'clock tonight, and it's about 7 a.m. in the morning right now. Do I want to push it? I don't know. So we'll see. As I'm climbing up, it's not a little rocky, but it's okay. I start seeing the sun shining through. Just beautiful. Then I see this, the river, the farm fields, low-hanging clouds. And I hope you can hear the birds. They've been singing all morning. As if I didn't have enough roses already today. I think the thing I'm going to remember from the Clarks Ferry area is the widowmakers. These things are huge. I'm wondering, I follow the weather closer maybe than a normal person as a pilot. I'm very interested with the weather. But I wonder if this area got hit with a derecho. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's like a massive downdraft. And you can do this kind of damage. A lot of these trees look to have been downed about the same amount of time. There's some older ones and maybe some fresh ones, but the majority of them seem to be about the same age in terms of, when they fell. They had a fire here. You can tell it's starting to turn green already. We went through a fire area out west. It was struggling to come back. What happened was that the fire boiled the sap in the trees. The sap melted, of course, spread out evenly over the ground. Any seed that landed that wanted to germinate and sprout died. I like to keep my videos upbeat, happy, talking about good views, that kind of thing. And there goes my sticks again. And I didn't want to mention anything, but the trail north of this parking lot is covered with graffiti, and it turns out, yeah, it's a problem. I don't quite get it. Well, this has been a social morning. I met Ramon, and Joe, and I ran into the Yankee girls. They just came out for a one-nighter. They've been hiking together since 1988. One of them through hiked the AT back in 1980. And they've just been hiking together, having fun. Ran into a Boy Scout troop. Let me just say it differently. Scouts BSA is the new name. So I ran into a Scouts BSA troop with girls. The Scouts are allowing girls in now. And they're doing a 10-mile hike for the merit badge, hiking merit badge. And then you can hear the kids coming up behind me. A lot more people out here today. The water for Perry's Mountain Shelter is a long way down, but it's flowing strong.
Like soaked through about. I keep thinking about that what the funk.
It's Monday morning, 7 o'clock. I'm on the road. Yesterday was great. Good weather. Peters Mountain Shelter is beautiful. If you're in the area, just stop in and check it out. It's not like a normal shelter. It has it's got four sides, but the one corner is opened. I don't know, like you'd have it a patio or a deck at your house. Big picnic table, two deckers. The water, though, at Peters Mountain, I don't know if they counted the steps. They say it's 300 steps. It was way more than that, and it's steep. And so I'd recommend carrying extra water in. Just treat it as a dry camp. But if you do need water, it was flowing really well. The last half mile to the tent site that we stayed at was 5 miles past Peters. Peters Mountain. Real nice. We had a fire ring, had a nice fire. Met Spicy at Peters Mountain, and she stayed with us here with Blackbird and Root. And just had a nice time sitting around talking, real relaxing. Today, the push is to get to Roush Gap Shelter, which is about 6-7 miles shy of Swatara Gap, which is my end goal. Today's Monday, and if I filled you in correctly, my goal was to get to Swatara Gap by Friday. And so, unless something happens, I'm going to be 3 days early on a 1-week trip. And that's okay. Roses, buds, and thorns yesterday. Roses was the weather. Met lots of people. Oh man. A family and two boys going to Yosemite. No, I'm sorry, to Yellowstone next week. They all got new shoes. Met the Yankee girls. They started backpacking together in 1988. And they're older than I am, both of them. And their backpacks were overflowing with winter gear, great big, huge sleeping bags. But they didn't want to be cold, and they weren't. Met a scout troop, and you may know that scouts have opened it up now so the girls can join what used to be called Boy Scouts. And they were working on the hiking merit badge. Met a guy, Splash. He built his own float plane. It's actually a flying boat, and I'm a pilot, so we had some topics to talk about. So buds, I'm looking forward to getting to Roush Gap because that was my goal from last summer, was to get there, and that's where I didn't make that goal. So I'm looking forward to that. Thorns, the last hour of the trail yesterday was kind of like northern Pennsylvania. It was pretty tough. Not too steep up and down. There's some ups and downs, but not too steep. But the rocks were pretty bad. So I'm gonna get on with the day here. I've got 13 miles to Roush Gap, and looking forward to it. Hope you can hear the birds. They're everywhere. Lots of flowing water here, but do you want to drink it? I wonder what that foam is. Here's the trail sign. And the thing I'm most interested in is that the Roush Gap Shelter is 8.3 miles away. And apparently somebody didn't watch my video on the 4 T's of trail signs. If you were sitting at home on your couch, which I guess you may be, you wouldn't get to see this cool tree. It's down across the trail. We don't have to go over or under it, we go through it. I'm always scouting for potential campsites. This one is covered with soft pine needles. With the cement blocks, I'm wondering if this wasn't a site of a fire tower. At least some kind of a tower was here. If you're in the wilderness long enough, you're gonna hear loud crashes in the middle of the night, maybe while you're hiking. And you won't actually see it, hopefully. But these kinds of things just happen. This one's fairly fresh, actually. All that wood is still freshly exposed. But that's why you watch out for widowmakers. They come down whenever they want. So I'm going northbound, and I see this sign over here, Roush Gap Shelter, 0.3 miles, which is what I was expecting. I see a trail down here. I'm expecting Roush Gap Shelter to be off to the right or the east of the Appalachian Trail going northbound, and there's a trail, but then I see a white blaze, so I get confused. And I had also seen this trail, but I would have expected maybe to see a sign here, but it isn't. It's back over here. So Roush Gap Shelter is not straight ahead. It's on this trail. So that's where I'm gonna go. That's where I'm gonna stay tonight. I don't know if you could hear that. That was a widowmaker coming down. I hope you could hear it. I couldn't see anything falling, but it was big enough that it made a lot of noise. Here's the Roush Gap Shelter. Little metal table there. We'll probably do a fire tonight. We've been doing those. And guess what we got right here? All the water you could ever want to drink. Oh, this was a good day of hiking. I'm at the Roush Gap Shelter. Really kind of cool. Here's a little wall here, and the water's right over there. The fire thing right here, like a fire ring. That's pretty cool. Oh, let me flip around here. See, there's even a table. So this is kind of sweet right here. The trail from here back to, is it Clark's Ferry? Sorry, I don't remember it. The trail from here back to there is really pretty good. Pretty flat, ups and downs, okay. And it's Pennsylvania, you got some rocks, but actually you can go a long time without having to deal with some rocks. So my rose for today is I got here, no problem. Met lots of people along the way. A lot of through hikers. Met one section hiker. The guy wouldn't stop talking. You'd almost think he was me. He talked about everything. I found out about all of his injuries, his career. He's retired now. What he thought of his doctor. I learned everything. And then Captain Chaos went by and Frizzle and Cup of Tea. And I'm not sure if it's Sergeant Pepper or Salt and Pepper, but I met him too, along with a few other people who I didn't catch their names. So those are my roses today. Were just great. Beautiful weather. Bud, tomorrow I walk into Jonestown. They've got a room with a shower. It's right next to a Wendy's. Did you know that Wendy's chicken sandwich is 14 Weight Watcher points? And a lot of people get 20 points in a day. So it's a lot of don't eat at Wendy's. That's just my opinion. So I'll get a shower and everything. Now I'm 3 days ahead of schedule, so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for 3 days. I do not know what I'm going to do. I need to be up by New Jersey, New York by Saturday. So that'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all day Saturday too. I have about a 3-hour drive. So I got a few days to figure out what I'm going to do. I may do some day hikes. I may decide to maybe do an out and back, go to a trailhead, hike into a shelter a few miles, hike back out. Not sure. I do need to replace the bite valve on my water bladder. It's worn out and that started dripping on me. So easy way to deal with that though is just close the valve every time you get done drinking. That stops leaking. But it's just a pain. Every time I want to take a sip, you have to open up the valve. In terms of thorns, the bottom of my feet hurt a little bit, but I think it's just from doing 13 miles. I got here in plenty of time. I kind of predicted I'd go about 1.5 miles an hour, and that's about what I did. And so it worked out pretty good. It's a real sweet place. I wasn't expecting it to be this nice. So that's my roses, buds, and thorns for today. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Got to figure that out. I don't mean to brag, but that's a pretty good bear hang there. Look how far away it is from the trunk. It's down from the branch, and that branch is pretty weak. You're not going to get many bears that want to climb out. And then coming over here, it's tied off with that friction knot I've shown you before. Well, this is still Monday night. was able to use my Garmin to get a hold of John's dad's son. He changed my reservation for me. I was supposed to check into the hotel Friday, but I changed it to Thursday. I was real optimistic that, yeah, maybe I can make it by Thursday. So I'm going to be making it by Tuesday night, 3 days early. Had a pessimistic schedule. I wanted to make sure I could make the schedule, so I had a lot of short days. And I've been doing 2 days at a time, so that's worked out really well. Sergeant Pepper showed up, as well as the Bearded Frog. And they're all through hikers. Bearded Frog started in February down in Georgia. And everybody else I'm with, Sergeant Pepper, Blackbird, and Root, they started in Harper's Ferry 2-3 weeks ago, and they're going to do a flip-flop. Me, I'm done tomorrow for this part of the trip.
A bit like your let's say €100 a night, £100 a night.
Well, I got another morning starting out great today. Up just a little bit before 6. Everybody in the shelter was Bearded Frog, Blackbird, and Root. We all got up about the same time. I was the first out, but then I don't eat breakfast. I usually eat a bar while I'm walking. So as I'm getting my food bag down, Bearded Frog comes out, and so we ended up walking together. And we went through the area flooded by the beaver dams. And just want to check here, make sure I'm still on the trail, and I'll show you why. Oh, I can't. All right, we'll do it this way. See those two sticks across there? I'm thinking, why are there two sticks in the middle of nowhere, right across the trail? Does that mean this is not the trail? And that's not what I'm seeing. So back to my story. So Bearded Frog and I walked and talked. He showed me how to take cool pictures of water. I was telling him I really like to take pictures of water, but I never get pictures I like. He says, well, do this, this, and this on your iPhone. Oh, okay. In fact, I'll put the picture up here so you can see what a great photographer I am. So then I ran into Captain Chaos, a cup of tea, and Frizzle. They had camped together, those three. So we talked for a while, hiked along together. I ended up talking with Frizzle for a long time. She's got her own YouTube channel called Chasing Blazes. I'm a subscriber. I didn't even realize that that's who it was. And I enjoy that channel, so check it out, Chasing Blazes. Then I walked around along with a cup of tea for a while. She actually lives in England. And so we talked about different trails, talked about the book I wrote about the King's Trail. And I wouldn't be surprised if someday she goes and does it, because it's real easy for her to get there. She can take a flight over to Kiruna, if nothing else, and then a couple hour train ride, and she's there. And so we'll just have to see how that goes. I hope it works out well for her. So I'm just gonna flip around here. Check this out. It's not always a green tunnel. All right, I gotta keep moving here. I'm gonna have a shower done and completed in less than 3 hours. What's the speed limit here? Can a car coming up that hill stop fast enough? This, and that's not for safety, it's to suppress this. It looks better.
John's dad hikes is gonna cross the river.
Oops.
See how you gotta be careful? Use your poles.
Easy.
Nice job.
Well, you can hear all the cars in the background. Oh, and a truck of some kind. You might be able to hear some birds. The birds are here too, but the cars are louder. That old bridge there is what I crossed last summer when I aborted my hike of the Pennsylvania and Maryland section. I got to Swatara Gap and my joints were just hurting too bad. So I went to Duncanon for a couple days and then leaped forward even further south to Carlisle. This summer, I'm completing those 52 miles. I'm not technically done yet. I need to actually go down to that road. Hopefully I'll make it. If I don't, you'll never see this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But as soon as I go down and hit that road, then I'll have completed the 52 miles. So then I'll have all of Maryland and Pennsylvania done. You know what? I don't have from Delaware Water Gap to the middle of the bridge going into New Jersey. I don't know if I'm going to worry about that, but I'm going to call Pennsylvania and Maryland done. I'm going to go down there. Not quite sure. I've never hitchhiked. I've thought about hitchhiking into Jonestown, which is that way. It's south 2.4 miles. It's only going to take me an hour to walk it. And you can see that traffic too. Do I really want to be walking on that road? I'm going to get down there and check it out. I verified I can get an Uber, so I may just go across that cool bridge. And there's a parking lot on the other side, and maybe just ask for Uber to come and get me over there. Yeah, having fun. Oh, walked along with a cup of tea today, talked a little bit about hiking the King's Trail. She lives in England, and so it'd be a real easy hop for her to just fly over to Kiruna maybe. She can also go into Stockholm like everybody else does. But she can have a lot more direct flights into Kiruna, a couple hours on a train or a bus, and she'd be on the King's Trail. And so hopefully she can do that. Talked with Frizzle as well. She's got her own channel, Chasing Blazes. I'm one of her subscribers. I didn't even realize it was her. So we talked a bit. She interviewed me, so I'm world famous again. Mighty Blue interviewed me, and now Chasing Blazes, I'll be on there. Rob the Nomad mentioned me. So yeah, I'm everywhere on the internet now. Okay, so I don't think I have anything else to share. Is any questions you have? All right, leave them down below if you do. I know you're worried. Did he make it down to the road? Did he get across the road? Did he complete the Pennsylvania section of the Appalachian Trail? Did he get to go across that cool old bridge again? And maybe most importantly, did he get the shower that he so desperately needed? Well, rest assured, don't worry. I made it down to the road. It was 100 yards, maybe 200 yards at most. And as I'm getting ready to put my foot on PA 72, the highway that you saw behind me, Spicy catches up to me. She was able to witnessed me completing the Pennsylvania section of the Appalachian Trail. She saw me put my foot on the road, and that was the completion. We crossed the road together. Neither of us got hit. Crossed a cool old bridge, and she disappeared into the future. I thought I'd never see her again. going a lot faster than I was. Spicy had plans to go down to trail days in Damascus and needed to build up some miles in advance, so when she left the trail and came back, she would stay in sync with her trail family. I don't know if that worked for her, but that was her plan. So I got across the bridge and decided I did not want I did not want to walk on that narrow road with all that traffic for 2.4 miles, only an hour. I don't want to do it. So I called an Uber. I had to wait about 15 minutes, not a problem. While I was waiting, a guy on an electric bike, an old guy, almost 70, I think, he came up and he and I started talking. I heard his whole life story. He and his wife sold their home and bought an RV, and they're traveling around the country living in the RV. They've got 3 or 4 kids scattered literally to the 4 corners of the earth. Well, 4 corners of this country. And so they travel, they live with one kid for a while and then travel and park outside the other kid's home for a while. And they're just having a good life. So the Uber guy showed up, and the one thing, if you're at Swatara Gap and you want to get an Uber ride, the Uber drivers know how to get to the Appalachian Trail where it crosses that busy Highway 72, the Pennsylvania 72. If you can, get them to go a mile or so towards Jonestown, which is going to be east of the trail, and take a new bridge. Now that bridge isn't new to me, but apparently it's new to them. In the area, it's new. Get them to take that bridge and they hang a left after they get off over the bridge, and it brings you right up to a perfectly safe, big, huge parking lot. It's a lot better than trying to load in all of your gear and all the people into a car on a road where there really isn't a shoulder. There's kind of a shoulder. You can get most of the car off of the road, but see if you can get them to come to pick you up in that parking lot. That's where I was. That's where I stood talking with Dave for so long. My Uber driver didn't know about that, so I had to cross the bridge again, that old cool bridge, and we did the loading up on the shoulder of the road, and nobody got hurt. That's fine. 2.4 miles is not real far. It is if you're walking it, but if you're driving it isn't. So I did talk with the driver for a while, and he suggested dinner at this restaurant in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, just up the road. It's less than 10 miles from Jonestown. And I did go there for dinner. It was nothing to talk about. I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember where it was. When I got there, though, you had to have an app to pay for parking, or you could park a few blocks away. So I did that. It was, what's a few extra blocks, right? After 52 miles. And these were on sidewalks, easy to do. So that's what I did, and I walked up there. The food wasn't that great. Service was nice. The patrons were real friendly. Somehow, and I'm not sure, they figured out that I was hiking the AT. And maybe I was not a local, so therefore I'm hiking the AT. That could be what's going on. So anyway, using Uber to get to and from Swatara Gap was no problem. There was cell service there. I did decide to do some trail magic at the 501 shelter. Now that's the last shelter I stayed at coming southbound before I had to bail at Swatara Gap. And so it's not that far away. I found a grocery store and bought all kinds of stupid fat and sugar-laden foods and Danish and sweet rolls and all kinds of stuff that you really shouldn't eat unless you're hiking long distances every day. I also bought a case of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Blackbird mentioned a few days ago that she liked Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, so I thought, well, I'll drop that off there and she can have a little trail magic. So while I was sitting at the 501, and there's a little parking area there if you want to go straight to the 501, and it's 0.1, 0.2 off of the trail. It's not real far. It's definitely worth the little hike in to check it out. Talking about the 501, four-sided building, I don't know, you probably can sleep 20 or more people, a lot of people on the floor maybe, but it's fully roofed, there's doors, and just less than 100 yards away, there's a caretaker house where you can get water and you can also get electricity. Now the water, sometimes they shut off to discourage homeless people from hanging out in the area. And so you do want to verify the status of the water, but the electricity is there and you can charge everything up overnight. So while I was there, just hanging out, talking to people coming through, Beggins was there, and she's traveling, she hiking with her dad. They're both from Utah, and he's not the grumpy goblin. Just think about it. When I was growing up as a kid, girls weren't, allowed to go camping or backpacking. And now half the people out there are women. It's just fantastic how far we've come in less than a century. And we've got a long way to go, but I'm encouraged by the progress we've made. So talked to them for a while, and a guy named Crash showed up, a guy named Rerun showed up, and he's doing long section hikes every year, as long as he can. And he's got a plan. He's got a plan for when he's going to finish. And he had a story about everything, and talk, and just like me. As a treat, Spicy caught up, so I was able to go get a shower and have dinner and drive up to the 501, and then she made it to the 501. And also a cup of tea came by, and so that was kind of fun catching up with them again. So don't worry, I did make it, and I am safe. Now, if you don't hear about my Alaska backpacking trip, that means I could have been eaten by a bear. That should probably drop sometime, September, September or maybe October. It just depends on how many videos I end up getting out of the Alaska trip. So here's the bridge. Sorry for the truck noise. I have no idea what these people are doing, but I thought, you might know what they're doing. They look like they're having fun, a lot of giggling and laughing. This is that cool old bridge that I crossed last summer and I rambled on about so much. I'm just so awestruck by the engineering that went behind these things. To figure out the right materials, the thickness, the strength, the structure. So very impressive and beautiful. This one apparently was moved here from someplace else. I didn't realize that.
I'll edit that out. Here I am with John's dad, and that's his hiking name, so it's John's dad. And John's dad has his own YouTube channel also, and it's called
John's Dad Hikes.
John's Dad Hikes. So what exactly do you do on your channel?
Well, I do a couple things, how-to stuff, basic stuff, how to filter water, how to set up your tent, how to throw a bear bag, those kinds of things.
Ooh.
And then I like to take a big bite out of backpacking food. How's that for a stupid line?
That's awesome.
I dehydrate everything. Fruit leather with rhubarb and cranberries and...
You do it all yourself?
The coconut stuff, yeah, the coconut treat you got.
Yeah.
That was kind of my own invention.
Delicious.
It was really good.
It was very good, yeah.
And then I do section hiking, not a through hiker.
Okay.
And just trip reports.
So he also hiked a very cool trail in Sweden, called the King's Trail. And he did, he wrote a book on that. You can get it on Amazon.
Yep.
It's called
John's Dad Hikes Kungsleden, and Kungsleden is the King's Trail in Swedish.
Can you spell that?
Yes.
I can't.
K-U-N-G,
All right.
which is king, Kung, L-E-D, laid, which is trail, Kungsled, and then E-N means the. So Kungsleden.
See, you're always learning something out here. I know I am anyway, but his channel is really, I haven't checked it out yet. I will obviously do so, but it sounds like it's really beneficial if you are trying to learn things and how to do things out here. It sounds like that's really helpful.
I'm hoping that it would be a good thing for scouts to watch, that they could learn for backpacking. So it's aimed at beginners totally.
Which is wonderful. So you can let your kids or your grandkids watch it. Unlike my channel, he won't be dropping F-bombs or anything like that. It's kid friendly. So check out his YouTube channel and check out his book. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get the Kindle version which is really easy. So maybe grab the Kindle version for yourself or buy the book. Anything else you want to throw out there?
Good.
All right.
Good.
Take care.
Yeah, while you're getting your laundry done and listen to the birds chirp, you can resupply here at Weiss Markets. They were one of my customers back when I had to work for a living. Nice store, nice people inside. The laundromat also seems real clean, nice, $3 for a wash and a quarter for every whatever 10 minutes of drying. Driving from Swatara Gap north towards Delaware Water Gap, I stopped in Hamburg, Pennsylvania at Cabela's to pick up some fuel and to look for a replacement bite valve for my water bladder. It was leaking all over me. A stop at Pinnacle Laundry got some of the stink out of my clothes, not all of it. And then right next door was Weiss Markets, and I picked up some fresh produce and sweets there. A short drive up the road brought me to Port Clinton. The last time I was there, it was a Saturday, so everything was closed. This time, I was able to visit the peanut shop, which, by the way, has way more than just peanuts. I got myself some almond bark there. I rested at the barber shop just a block or so north from the peanut shop. It is the center of the Port Clinton Society and is very hiker friendly. They have a table full of donuts and cookies and all kinds of sweets that you might like. It's all free for hikers. Lunch was delicious at the 3C restaurant, and it's only a few hundred yards north of the pavilion in the park. That's where you can stay for $10 if you're hiking. For the afternoon, I hung out at that park pavilion, hoping that some hikers would come along that I could do some trail magic for. Maybe give them a ride someplace, maybe down to Cabela's or take them to lunch, whatever it was. But nobody came through. I was all by myself. Enjoyed the weather. It was a great day. But nobody came through, and it's because Port Clinton is really positioned too far north that northbounders really can't reach there, even the extremes on the leading edge of the northbound bubble, and southbounders too just don't have time to get there yet. As the evening approached, it got a little cooler, so I jumped in my car and headed further north. You'll hear about that tomorrow. Sorry for the road noise. When you're in Port Clinton, you gotta check out the barbershop. It is so cool. A lot of old-time characters. Almost reminded me of the Floyd's Barbershop in Mayberry. Everybody's talking. Seems like they know each other. The hikers extremely welcome. They got donuts and sweet rolls and coffee. Anything they can do for hospitality. What an experience. I probably sat in there for an hour talking to different customers as they came and went. When I worked for REI, I quite often watched for people that came into the store with maybe LL Bean or Cabela's coats or something on their shirt. And I'd say, oh, you got here just in time. We can get you into a better jacket than that. And that would open up a conversation. They'd smile, we'd laugh. And I had that turn around on me today. I needed small can of fuel, so I was in Cabela's, and one of the salesmen noticed that my REI half zip is ripping on the sleeve. The seam is coming out, and so he suggested that maybe he can get me into a better product than what I got at REI. Now, to be fair, I went back to look. I bought this thing 7 years ago, and it's been my favorite. It's been on all my camping trips, all my backpacking trips. So that's at least it's a month on the Kings Trail, a month in Delaware and Maryland, plus a whole mess of shorter trips in between. And so I've got my money's worth out of this. But I thought it was pretty funny. A guy was able to turn around the same joke on me.
year I hiked all the way from Delaware Water Gap down to Harper's Ferry. I did skip over 52 miles, and I completed those earlier this week. And just now I finished the hike all the way to the New Jersey border. So now I've done everything from New Jersey down to West Virginia. And here comes a big truck. I'm going to shut it off so you don't have to listen to it. So if you're headed southbound, you'll come this way, and then for you it'll be off to the right. You go over and hit the bridge, take that ramp up. I just came off of there. Mid-bridge, I ran into two AT hikers. They're going southbound. Olas, a woman, she gave me the reference. It was something like an old woman with sandy shoes or something, and I don't get the reference, but I'll have to Google that later. And then bagpipes, a woman that's learning to play the bagpipes and wants to walk through the woods playing the bagpipes. And we agreed that she probably wouldn't get anybody objecting to that kind of music in the woods. So then we laughed. I'm not sure a lot of people would like to hear bagpipes in the middle of the forest hiking the AT. It'd be worse than any kind of a Bluetooth speaker, I think. So anyway, I'm officially in New Jersey, and I've officially been on basically every foot of the AT between here and Harper's Ferry. Done. Check mark. Going back now, I'm going to get my car and I'm going to come back and drive over here and park, and then hike in. I think it's 5 to 7 miles, something like that. There's a couple tent sites up there and a pond, and I've got to fill in a couple days here before I need to meet my friends up in northern end of New Jersey. But an hour drive from here, but of course a lot more hiking than that. And that's my plan. So before lunch, and I guess a little bit after lunch, I walked across the bridge into New Jersey to the Dunfield Creek Natural Area. Then I walked back to my car, drove over here, parked, and this is where I'm going to start taking the AT up 3 to 7 miles. I know that's a variable, but it's almost 80 degrees, and I'm not sure how far I want to go. I don't have to go anywhere. I thought I'd spend a couple days in nature while I'm waiting for the next section hike to start on Saturday. Today's Thursday. So that's the way we're gonna go. And this is the Dunfield Creek Natural Area. Plenty of parking. I'm gonna bet it overflows on weekends though. What a beautiful day today has been. Lots of roses. I'm here just east of Delaware Water Gap. Came up about 3 or so miles to backpack camp number 2. I'm not quite sure what that means. I guess there's a 1 someplace, but this is apparently the only place in this park area, and I forget what the name of it is, Woolworth something maybe, where you can camp. And you can't have ground fires, I guess, on all of New Jersey, so that kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. Beautiful, beautiful weather all last week, so that's a rose. And my bud is that so far the forecast for the rest of this week is absolutely beautiful as well. And so that's one heck of a bud. Yeah, I'm able to do this, and that's always a rose for me too. I'm At one point I was walking with a cane, and now I walk with a backpack. So in terms of thorns, I guess I would have liked to have gone further today, but from what I understand, I'm not allowed to camp anyplace else that's within my reach. So tomorrow I'll do a little bit of an out and back, probably come back here, spend the night here again. The only real thorn, a couple came in here to the same area. They've got their tent set up, and shortly after they got here, I heard the woman kind of scream, and she was on the phone, and then the man was had his arm around her, comforting her and stuff, and so an hour or so after that, I walked over and just mentioned to him that it seemed like they'd gotten some bad news, and if they needed to ride someplace, I've got a car just 3 miles away down the hill, and I could take them wherever they needed to go. And unfortunately, the woman's dog had been hit by a car, and she had just gotten a hold of her father, who gave her all the bad news. The dog apparently is going to be okay, but that's still real upsetting. You lose a pet, or a pet gets injured. It does upset you, and I'm not at all surprised that she was still crying. And so that's my thorn. I really hate to have bad things happen to people. So, but tomorrow, still supposed to be another great day. I'll do a little bit of day hiking. I'll probably come back here, like I said. I got plenty of food. You don't need a lot of food for a day and a half. So my pack is real light. I am going to be running low on water, and that's what I can do about 0.7 further up the trail. I can get some more water at Sunfish Pond, I think it's called. So it's real beautiful. And I'll throw in a picture here of the sunset. It's just gorgeous here, a beautiful evening. The reason I'm sitting here in my shell with the hood up is my shell is sprayed with permethrin. And just by putting it up and putting the hood up, seems to keep the fleas or gnats or whatever they are away from me. They don't somehow sense that I'm here. And so that's good. I don't mind that at all. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. This tenting area has several bear boxes and lots of signs about bear activity. Far Out has comments about not aggressive bears, but bears that aren't afraid, that kind of sit there, kind of wait for you to go away so it can maybe come over and sniff and find some food you left out. So I woke up last night, there was something walking around my tent. Just one step at a time, very deliberate. And so I tried to make sure it wasn't my heartbeat that I was hearing, and then I didn't move, and it wasn't me. It went all the way around the tent. So then, of course, now I'm wide awake, and I wait 10-15 minutes. I haven't heard anything, so I'm hoping that it moved away somewhere, anywhere but near my tent. I was very diligent, not a single smellable, not trash, not a candy bar wrapper, nothing was in my pack. I'm thinking, well, I've had, the candy bar wrappers, the open ones in my hip pocket, so that, there's probably some smell there. And so I'm a little concerned, but now it's the middle of the night and I'm wide awake, and of course, what do I got to do? So I listen and listen and listen. Nothing's out there. It's long gone, whatever it is. So I get my headlamp, because I need to see what's out there when I get out, because I gotta pee. So I quietly unzip the screen, unzip the tent fly, stand up and I turn on the headlamp to a bright intensity, and the headlamp I've got is just so far overkill. It's 450 lumens, that light lit up when I turned it on. I turned it high intensity. It lit up the entire camp area. And when you come here, you'll figure out that, oh yeah, that the lamp is a little bit too high, too bright. I think it's intended to be one that you would mountain bike at night. So getting back to the Prowler, I turned it on immediately. Not very far away. The light reflects back in 2 eyes. So I'm not sure if my heart started beating really fast or if it skipped a beat, but it did something. And then because the lamp is so bright, I could actually fairly quickly make out the shape of a deer. And he had a friend. And as I turned around, I wanted to check the whole area. They had lots of friends here. They decided to have a deer party right on our campsite here. So that was kind of relaxing. But I was awake for a long time. I had a lot of adrenaline to use up. I slept really well. The whippoorwills are very active, and you know they're whippoorwills because they sound like whippoorwill, whippoorwill. I think that's how come they got their name. I don't know. So today's going to be a good day. I checked the weather. A beautiful, beautiful sunny day today. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have a good day. I'm planning on staying here again tonight because it's a Friday night tonight. I wouldn't be surprised at several more people joining me. So I can't have a fire here, but maybe we'll sit around and talk. I'm not sure. So hoping you're going to have a good day because I know I am. The trail from the backpack camp 2 to here at the Sunfish Pond natural area. Very nice, flat, wide enough for 2 people. I'm not surprised. The big parking area down below, I would expect a lot of day hikers come up here holding hands. I'm just holding my poles. Well, I've told you that I'm going to freely share my mistakes with you. I came up here and you can see the trail. So I continued straight forward. I went quite a ways. Oh, 0.1 maybe 0.2. I don't think I went 0.2. And I realized that the blazes had disappeared. And sometimes you can go a quarter mile, even a mile on the AT, and the blazes aren't there. But not here. This section of trail, they're very common. So this is what I missed. The trail actually goes down that way.
So when I want to get some water, I find a place like this that has a little waterfall, so I can treat it kind of like a faucet. Just pry open the bag. If it's using a bottle, you just dip it in.
Oh, well, if you're like me, you're going to forget to put the cap on sometime. So don't feel bad about it. Try it open again. Seal it closed. Now because it's a C-Knock bag, Sawyer filter will fit on the end here. But I also will take this off and drop a couple of micropure tablets in there. I like to both treat and filter my water. I just don't want to get sick out here, and it's not that much extra effort. So let me know if you have questions about gathering water or treating it in any way. Well, happy Mother's Day. Sunday morning, we got shuttled from, I think it's Woodland Trails campsite. It's like an RV campsite. It's not something that you guys would ever want to go to unless you've got an RV, but it has nothing to do with backpacking. But that's where our shuttle driver is going to sit for the week. One of the guys' wives comes with her camper and she sits there and enjoys the week. And so Resupply us twice, as you'll see. And so we're going to go walk now southbound on the AT. We'll cross the Hudson River on a bridge, and then, if I understand right from the topo, we're going to climb about 1,500 feet in about 2 miles. So it'll be a pretty good morning. See you up the trail. Getting ready to cross over the Hudson River. Beautiful bridge. So we're kind of bummed out. We walked across the bridge on the Hudson, not a problem. A little windy, a little cool, but real beautiful sky today. You can kind of see it, how beautiful it is. And we wanted to walk through the zoo, which opens at 10 a.m. in the morning. And right now it's, maybe 20 after 9. So after walking a mile, we're gonna take our first break. Just a short hike up a few steps, just a few steps up out of the zoo, and you come to this view. So we climbed up Bear Mountain from the zoo. Pretty much very comfortable climb, an intense climb, lots of steps, lots of people we're meeting. They were up, maybe they were up here, not for sunrise, they were too late for that, but they were up here. And just a beautiful view up here. I'll just kind of spin around, hang on, I'm gonna go real fast. And there's the Perkins Memorial Tower here atop of Bear Mountain. Just beautiful. It's worth the drive up. There's apparently a parking lot here, but you could walk up it too, it's not bad. Lunch on Bear Mountain was
couple small fun-sized Snicker bars, and a package of homemade apple and banana fruit leather with a little bit of cinnamon in there and some honey. And now we have this beautiful trail. The trail south from Bear Mountain has been crushed gravel, kind of crushed cinder kind of stuff. Real smooth, wide enough for two people. It's for tourists, I think. But I've a few things I'm trying to work on just in terms of technique. And one thing is, as I'm taking steps going downhill on smooth trails, that I take a longer step. Historically, my knees have given out on me, and so I've got a big fear that I'll end up collapsing. But I've been doing a lot of work on my knee muscles, and I actually can do longer strides going downhill with confidence, except I'm missing the confidence. So I've been working on that today. This year we have 2 Eagle Scouts with us. I'm so proud of the nice young men that they've turned out to be. And Eagle Projects are one of the things that they do to help them become who they are. So it's pretty much a rule. Wherever I go on vacation, eventually I get to speak Swedish. This includes when I was in Indonesia, of all places. One of the guys renting out bicycles that we rented to ride around Jakarta, which is, by the way, I don't recommend. He spoke Swedish. And just now I walked past a couple guys, look like normal people. They live in Westchester, New York. And I'm already past them, maybe 10 yards or so. And I hear, "Are you Swedish?" So I get another 10 minutes of talking Swedish. It's actually an American whose father lived in Helsingborg, which is on the west coast. And he actually lived there 15 years. His Swedish was excellent. His accent was native. Fantastic. So I always like to do that. And in the meantime, oh, check this out. I'm gonna swing around. Beautiful view. Can you guess why this tree makes me very sad?
Meep, meep.
Brand new boots, Merrill Moabs. I was stepping over a log, and that log had a little bit of a branch sticking out from it, a limb, and a limb caught my toe. And I almost went down. I was actually hung up and leaning forward on both of my sticks
all of my weight, ready to smash my face right into the ground. And I was able to pull back. My ankle was being stretched out pretty bad, but I was able to pull back, and so got a hole. Well, this is Tuesday morning. We've had fantastic weather. I have not been recording videos. I'm with my AT hiking group, and well, they said that I had their permission to use their image, you know, whatever the legal mumbo jumbo is. I just don't want to do that. I don't want them to be self-conscious about what they're doing, or have my YouTube channel somehow affect what we're doing on here, because it's just a blast. Really great people. We've had several new people. Another one of our old Eagle Scouts is along on this trip. He's a really good kid. And a friend I used to work with, actually two people I used to work with, two different places. One when I had my IT career, and then while I was working at REI. So my rose, I think so far for the trip, has been the weather and the friendship of the people. It's just great. We're always here helping each other, and I needed water, but I didn't feel like walking all the way down to the thing, so somebody else took my water bottle and filled it up for me. It's just we just do stuff like that for each other. Buds, I'm looking for some continued nice weather. The forecast is fantastic. Today too, we get our resupply. One of the guys' wives comes along. They have a camper trailer, and she sets up and reads books and enjoys just being around. And so tomorrow she's going to go to Subway, pick us up some 12-inch subs, one for each of us, and some something to drink. I'm hoping I get a Diet Mountain Dew, but I'm okay with whatever she brings. We also have our resupply bags in her car, and so I'll pick out my resupply bag number 3 that's pre-planned. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3. No, this will be 4. Be resupply bag number 4, and I know which meals I have to have in there. I got a spreadsheet, and so that'll be today. The thorns. Yesterday was a tough day. The rocks get to my joints, and they're more than what I can deal with. And so Monday wasn't bad, or Sunday wasn't bad. Monday was the bad day. Today being Tuesday. Just too many rocks. I couldn't make any kind of speed at all, and pretty soon towards the end of the day I was plopping down. Rather than stepping down from one rock to the next, I was plopping down, and that just makes it all worse. So I'm looking forward to a better day today. We have a strong climb after lunch, so I'm hoping that Subway sandwich with some mayonnaise piled on there will give me the energy to just kind of cruise up the hill. So this is a real nice, probably a either mining road or maybe lumber, I don't know. But I'll just let you know that if you miss this set of blazes here, it says turn right, you can go a long freaking way up this road. It's a really nice road. It's fast hiking. It's really beautiful. And there are 2 big trees, huge trees, 2-3 diameter trunks laying across the road up there. Oh, maybe a quarter mile, maybe further. And when you see those, check around to see if you
notice any blazes. You won't find any, trust me. You need to come all the way back down here. It's a beautiful day though, so I'm gonna try to make this into a positive. I'm not sure how. So the path goes, AT goes through a low trail over towards the blaze. You can see it over here. Or some people have figured out a detour. I'm gonna take the detour. Hate to make the trail wider, but I don't want to get my feet muddy either. Hey, Bill. Hey, do not take the normal AT. Take the easy way, trust me.
Is it terrible?
It's vertical.
Oh, nice.
No, not nice.
Hey, did Sean lose his tent stakes?
I left first, I don't know.
Oh, I thought Sean, maybe he was back there getting water. You don't have gold tent stakes, do you?
Nope.
How the hell do you do this?
No, you don't go this way. Oh, show your face, Bill. There you go. It's, yeah, okay. Don't do it.
Wow.
I'm glad he showed up when he did. Holler if you need help.
This is awful looking.
Yes.
What a bad idea. Where do you step after that? That's ridiculous. Oh, there's something.
Oh.
Crazy. Then it gets worse. No. You should walk your bag all the way down here and hand it down to me, Bob.
All right.
This is no fun.
Do you want me to come and grab yours? Losing your poles off the back.
At this point. That's crazy. There we go. Oh, it gets better. Watch your head, you don't want to mess up your hair.
Well, it's been an exciting morning. I saw a doe run across, I don't know, 20 yards from me. Doe. She didn't even know I was there. Just kind of loping through the forest. I saw a frog. The frog did know I was there and is doing its best to get away from me. I left it alone though. I wasn't teasing it or nothing. And I was going through past I was down a little rock thing, and just off to the left, off of my peripheral vision, I see a black snake. And that's a B with a lowercase b, because I don't know what kind of snake it was. I just know its color was black. It's been a pretty good morning. Beautiful, beautiful hiking. If you're the one doing this, I'm not very happy with you. For the last 2-3 days, every quarter mile, half mile, we're finding a wipe or a Kleenex on the side of the trail. Somebody's doing this on purpose. If it's you, please stop.
It's a plant.
Well, it's Tuesday night. We just had dinner. There's something buzzing my ears. So roses today. Great weather again. Just beautiful. There was some stress in terms of hard climbs, hard descents, but that's what we want. I want some of that. If it was all easy, why bother? Anybody can go backpacking on a bike path. Met a lot of thru hikers, a lot of people doing flip-flops, starting at Harper's Ferry, for example. So we met a lot of those people. Met a guy from Germany whose brother studied in Lund, city there in Sweden where I used to live. I lived really close to there. So that was fun. Didn't get to speak Swedish today, but that's okay. So that were roses. Oh, the food was pretty good. I tried a Nor rice side, and I don't know, I let it rehydrate for 10 minutes, but it was still kind of crunchy. So I'll have to play with that some more. Buds, we have perfect weather forecasted for the rest of the week. And when I say perfect, I don't mind cold weather. It's going to be dipping into the 30s when we're at the Warwick Outdoor Theater. I'm fine. I'm going to love it. That'll be great. Tomorrow, I'm sorry. I don't know if I have any thorns. One of our guys had to break away from the group because he's got a job interview tomorrow. So he's going to do that from a hotel and do Zoom on their Wi-Fi. So that's actually a good thing, but it's kind of too bad he's not with us. It was kind of funny today. It's not really a thorn, it was just kind of a fun thing that happened. I missed a turn, and I told you about it earlier. Then they were concerned that one of our other guys was lost. They weren't sure where he was because people get out of sequence. You know who left camp before you, and all of a sudden you're crossing people and somebody isn't accounted for. We talked about it. I said, yeah, where we got water the night before, I missed the turn. He said, did you go all the way up to where there were two big logs crossing the path? Well, sure enough, yeah, he and I did the exact same thing. We were both questioning, this is just too easy. And it's not rocky. It's just not the Appalachian Trail here in New York. And so we were right. And so he did the same thing that I did. We're both fine. We're a little bit tired going up and down the rocks, but that's part of doing the AT. You got to deal with the rocks. Let's see, tomorrow the plan is we'll get up early. We got about 10 miles to do. We're then going to a hostel. We'll actually get picked up at a hostel. And I should know the name of it, and I don't, but I will by tomorrow because that's where I'll be. And so I'll let you know. Other than that, I don't know. Any questions you guys have? Let me know down below. I thought I would share. We're going to actually throw 2 bear ropes in case one gets hit. The other one hopefully won't get hit, and so as a group we'll still be fine. And we're throwing them right together on the same tree, and I don't know if that's the best plan, but that's what we're going to do. If the bear gets one, he might easily get the other, or she might get the other. But that's what we're going to do. Should work those. It's going to be pretty high off the ground, and check how far away it is from the trunk of the tree. So this is going to be a really good bear throw. Well, it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I've been going for about 15 minutes or so. It's the first one out of camp, out of 12. Actually, it's 11 right now. Last night I woke up around 2:30. We're in bear country, but it wasn't the bears that I thought were out to get us. It was extremely windy. We had not had a forecast for high winds. And then the sirens in the local town down in the valley started going and going and going and going. So it wasn't just me. Several of us thought, oh no, we got a tornado happening. And here we are in, what is it, 2 mil fabric tents with some aluminum poles underneath all these big, huge trees. So we also heard the horn, the honking horn, the deep kind of, I don't know if that's a good sound or not, the like fire trucks. So we figured it was probably a volunteer fire department, and I'm not sure why they didn't go digital and why they have to use the sirens. I would think they could be more effective if they actually just reached out to everybody by their cell phones, and you can easily set up auto dial kind of things. So anyway, that was this morning. It is absolutely beautiful again. Blue sky, maybe little cirrus clouds up there, but not bad. Going southbound, climbing from. Oh shoot! I meant to know the name of where we stayed last night. Starts with an A. Abudu. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, and I'll try to remember to let you know. It was real beautiful. Great sunset. Oh, I can insert the sunset in here. So remind me, and I'll do that later. So we got about 10 miles, 10.1 miles, and we're going to stay at it's actually a hotel, turns out. We're not real impressed yet. We reserved 7 rooms, and the guy says, yeah, your 3 rooms are ready. Well, but yeah, we reserved 7. Yeah, I know you wanted 10, he says, but I only had 7, but I have 3 now. What? So I don't know if that's a really good way to run a business, but he's got to make those decisions. And we're planning to stay there. We're going to have some showers. It's close to some kind of a hot dog stand, which is closed today, but that's okay. We can dream. But it's also close to a creamery. And do you know what you have at creameries? You have butter and whipped cream and ice cream. And so the ice cream is the thing we're all looking forward to. And I think the ice cream is going to precede the showers. So I got miles to make. I'm the slowest one in the group. So I try to get going early, and I get to talk to everybody as they pass me. So then I'll talk to you too. For the last couple days, almost every hiker going northbound, we're going southbound, every hiker going northbound is asking, is there any hand-over-hand climbing required between where we were and Bear Mountain or maybe the Hudson? And, you know, we say no, you know, some steep steps going up to Bear Mountain, but coming up and going down both ways. But no hand-over-hand climbing. I know why. There's some hand-over-hand climbing required where we are. It's been testy a little bit. Boy, one slip and you're going to fall 10, 15 feet. And it took a lot of strength and perseverance and all of those things, and a little bit of guts, maybe more testosterone than I really have anymore. So, but I did make it this far, so that's a good thing.
We have a pipe spring.
If we want, we can learn it. Right now, it's mostly for that,
A lot of boardwalks on the King's Trail to protect the land underneath, and I'm assuming that the marshy, boggy land that's here, they want to protect that as well, so they're building these up. But the one thing that surprises me is the ingredients. Why would soy sauce be used in a boardwalk? This has been our goal for today. I've not been inside yet, but that's where I'm going next. I hear it is really good. I noticed too they've got a hiker charging station right here. So it's worth stopping by even if you don't get any of the ice cream. Jim, the owner, manager, or something, is shuttling us to and from the trailhead, which is right by the creamery where you can get some ice cream. All right, well, we spent the night at Lakes Lodging Hotel. They did the shuttle for us from the creamery, walked up to Murphy's for dinner, had a burger, fries, nothing actually too special, but it was okay. And then hung out, talked, just revisiting the day. Yesterday was great though. For roses, it was beautiful weather again. The trail was really nice. Last couple miles were just flat, almost 2 people wide. Occasional rock or root, but we moved. We were doing 3 miles an hour easy. But I'm looking forward to beautiful weather for the rest of the trip. We were just talking this morning that for every day that I've been out now for 2 weeks, I've packed up a dry tent every morning. No exceptions. That's really nice. We're looking for that to be true for the next 2 days as well. Today we're going to the Warwick Outdoor Theater to drive in. So we're looking for that. I'm looking forward to a coney dog, I think is what it's called. Hot dog on a bun covered with chili and some cheese, hopefully Wisconsin cheese. So I'm looking forward to that for dinner. We actually only have 1 meal in our bag. Of course, I've got too much food, but we're just carrying lunch today. That's all we have to have. I've got lunch and some snacks, and I got a dinner I skipped. So I've got a little bit more than I need. In terms of thorns, none. 2 of our guys are going to take a zero today. One hurt his ankle last week, and was hoping he could hike, and it just isn't working. He can't move fast enough to make the miles. So a couple of them are going to take a zero today and hook up with us tonight at the theater. So that'll be fun to have them back. We hike pretty much separately anyway, and our socialization is
you know, in the morning and at night, and yeah, you'll hike with somebody for an hour or so. We all have different hiking speeds, and so we separate just naturally. So when we were all in scouts, we all hiked together. You'd have a designated leader. The person behind him was a navigator, and then usually an adult at the back. And I always carried my 85-liter Osprey, especially with the young scouts, because somebody would drop their tent or their sleeping bag or get tired, and I just grab it quick and throw it into my backpack so they could just keep hiking. But with this group, we're pretty experienced actually, and so we don't have equipment falling off of our backpacks like the kids did. So I'm looking forward to today. Doesn't look like there's going to be any real serious terrain, and right now, I don't know if you can see behind me. Yeah, that's the path. It's actually kind of nice. So, as one of my friends says, where we're going, we don't need roads. So, let's head out. Sometimes, even if you're in good shape, you don't need a rest. You need to stop and just enjoy this. The comment when we got here by everybody was that I've got enough water.
So are you filtering water?
If you come here, come with a friend so they can hand your pack up to you as you climb up to Sheer Face.
If you're, did you get
Alright.
this? There.
It's not.
Is that from Bob? No, I picked it up at Dunkin' Donuts. It was looking at me when I was sitting there with those little puppy dog eyes saying, "Buy me, buy me." And I saw.
Do you want me to get you?
I'm facing north on the AT. Now, as you remember, we're hiking south this week. And you can see the boards across, the logs across the trail, but it sure looks like a trail continues. Lots and lots of people have gone that way, you can tell. But you also can tell the trail turns right here. So there's a guy about where I am, walking forward, steps over those logs. In the meantime, I'm right over here where I should be, coming southbound. And I say, hey, this way. He looks up, looks at me. As he's looking at me, he also sees the blazes. And it happens to everybody. Don't feel shamed or embarrassed when it happens to you, because it will happen to you. In fact, this week, earlier I told you that I missed a turn and ended up walking up this fire road, or log service road, lumber forest service road, and until I get to two big trees, huge trees across the road. One of our guys did the exact same thing. We were laughing about it, because it wasn't until we got to those big logs we thought, you know, I haven't seen a blaze in a while. So we both looked. We did exactly the same thing. So don't be embarrassed. It happens to the best of us.
See if you can get some of the screens behind me too.
I think we had to walk up that way. Do you want your chocolate tonight? I can give you chocolate.
That's where they're going to sell me a hot dog with chili and Wisconsin cheese. That's my plan. Apologize for interrupting the video at this point. While editing the video, I got a call that a family member passed away in Wisconsin, and I had to stop editing the video and then head up here to Wisconsin for the funeral and all the events that go around it, the dinners with family and all of that kind of stuff. So all of that's behind us now. And I still wanted to let you know that while I was recording the previous snippet, 2 of our guys fell, and I saw them a couple weeks after the trip. This is a month or more after the trip. I'm wrapping this up finally. They were both still wearing their aids. One of them was wearing a boot because of the damage it did to his ankle. I'll show you his picture. And the other, I don't have a picture of it, but he still had a sling on from his wrist injury. So we took on some injuries on this trip. The trail was a little tougher than we expected. John's dad, son, and I both thought it would be a great YouTube moment if I just stepped away at the gravesite and you know, you could in the background, you know, see the cemetery and in the session going on with the prayers and stuff. John's dad's wife did not think that would be appropriate, and so I'm long after the funeral now, and just want to let you see I can get dressed up and look actually fairly normal. So I'll return you to your regularly scheduled program. Well, this is our last day. Spent the night at the Warwick Drive-In Theater. They're really nice there. They charge like $5 to camp, so that's real cheap. And then you get food there if you want it. There's also a grocery store, less than a quarter mile away. It's a bagel place in the morning, right near the grocery store, so it's real nice. So the roads, the weather for my 2 weeks out here, every single day has been beautiful. Today is the only day my tent was even a little bit wet. Been totally dry every morning. A little damp this morning. Buds, I'm looking forward to a slack packing day because my car was at the theater with us. We were able to unload everything that we don't need. So no tent, no winter clothes, none of the warm stuff. We're not going to need it. I think maybe the only thorn I got is that it's coming to an end. But it is scheduled to rain tomorrow. So maybe we'll just cut it even and call this whole week, the 2 weeks, the week together as a group and the 2 weeks where I've been out total. We're just gonna call this a win. This is the best I could ever expect. And today, just for fun, it's basically all downhill. And well, let's see. So far anyway, the trail is like this. Beautiful. Hey, come on along and hopefully we've got some views I can share.
It's a wall to make it. Yeah, it's a wall. I'm a wire. All those branches.
And you know I got a thing for bridges. The design, the construction, the maintenance. And this bridge was used for carrying iron ore on this road that we're on. Back up to the railroad. Oh man, and you know I like water too. Bridges and waters, that's my thing.
I'm not the trail police, and a lot of things are none of my business. So, you know, hike your own hike. I was just coming down here and heading towards Mitch's Grill in Vernon, New Jersey. Great place to get a hot dog, I'm told. And I saw a dog just roaming off leash. And I asked two guys that happened to be approaching me, hey, is that your dog? Just so they knew that the dog was maybe following them or whatever. I don't really care if it's on a leash. That's not as long as the dog is calm and not coming to attack me, I don't really care. It wasn't theirs, and they were surprised to see it too. Just then, a nice couple walked around the corner, and at the same time, the dog decides to poop. And I'm thinking, oh no, I don't want to be here. I don't want to have to make a decision if I say something or not, because I don't really want to say anything. But if they just leave it poop right on the trail, that's not cool for anybody. So the guy looks at me and says, excuse me, sir. Okay, because I'm so old, I got to be called sir. Do you happen to have a plastic bag? Well, guess what? I just finished eating my homemade trail mix with peanut M&Ms, of course, coconut-coated almonds, chocolate-covered almonds, dehydrated pineapple chunks, which are, by the way, very good. And I'm not sure what else I had in there. It was good, though. I really liked it. I opened the zipper on my left pocket, pulled out a plastic bag. He asked me, and within 2-3 seconds, I had a plastic bag in his hand. And then he picked up the poop as I was walking away. So that's good. So I really like the dogs out here, and I think the people hiking with their dogs, I think they really have fun. And it sure looks like the dogs are having fun too. And so I have no problem with animals out here. But the ones that come and charge at me barking, and I feel like maybe, you know, I'm seeing my life start to flash before my eyes, and I get all the way to 3rd grade, and I think this is the end. And okay, those dogs now people need to take care of, so they're not threatening to other people, or people don't feel threatened. But you know, the dogs are having so much fun. They're running and their tails are wagging. Let's spread the joy. So anyway, I'm a happy camper today. We had a really nice hike. Probably I'm approaching about 6 miles out of 8 today. Real nice hike. Most of the trail was absolutely beautiful. Kind of not as beautiful as this one. Maybe only one lane, you know, for people, and occasional rock and root. But boy, we were going over 2 miles an hour, I'm sure. Just from all the times that I've measured my speed, I kind of have a good idea of how fast I'm walking. Usually I'm walking 1 to 1.5 miles an hour when I've got the full backpack over a rough trail. But we were going 3 miles an hour sometimes. Then we hit what I think is called the Stairway to Heaven. And since we were going down, I wouldn't call it the Stairway to Heaven, maybe something reverse. It was tough. Every step down was tough, and my knees are starting to hurt now. Bottom of my feet was beautiful, though I met a nice couple walking up, and they were looking for a viewpoint, and we had looked for it and couldn't find it. Pinnacle Rocks, Pinnacle View, something. If it is there, maybe it's only there when the trees are leafless. All the trees are all full of leaves and everything, so maybe the views aren't there like they would be possibly. So anyway, having a great morning. I'm heading in towards not Mitch's Grill. I'll go past that place where apparently I can get a second breakfast with bagels or donuts or coffee, and that's where my hiking partners this morning are. They separated a little bit for me because I stopped to talk to people, and they kept going. So, all right, beautiful day. Oh, you can tell it's overcast. That isn't a blue sky, but that kind of keeps the heat down, and it is supposed to get very sunny at 5 o'clock tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be done here in no time at all. We had 8 miles to do, and at 3 miles an hour, even 2 miles an hour, that's only 4 hours. And so we started at 7. We actually hit the trail at 7 a.m. this morning, and take a break here. We'll be done by noon. So sorry, it'll be a short day. Can't get you a full day of videos.
I'm just in heaven. All the bridges today. Look at this one, how long it is, how cool it is. And you know what? These bridges go over water. Ugh. Okay. So I don't want to drink out of that, but it's still pretty. Okay, so maybe I don't like bridges so much that have a lot of stairs, but I like bridges. Somebody built this and designed it. It's cool. And we tie that in with water. All right, I'm done sharing. I'm just gonna enjoy this all by myself now. Well, except for maybe this. Well, I'm ecstatic again. Walking along the boardwalk and coming the other way, bearded frog from last week. It was really cool. Yeah, he skipped the 501 shelter, so he didn't get any of the Pabst Blue Ribbon I left there, but he had heard about it. And unfortunately, Captain Chaos was in front of him. I didn't recognize him. Otherwise, it's been great out here. Beautiful day. Great boardwalk. Well, this was a good day. Of course, wonderful weather. We're right here at 517, Highway 517. You can kind of hear traffic. Just finished, what is it, a mile and a half worth of boardwalk. Fantastic. Ran into Bearded Frog. Unfortunately missed Captain Chaos. I recognized him, I think, and I didn't say anything. I should have asked him if he recognized me. Then ran into Cup of Tea, whose birthday was yesterday, and met Pace and Kevin. And Pace's husband, his name starts with a D, Deception maybe. And then ran into Fizzle, who has her own YouTube channel, Chasing Blazes. What a cool name for a channel. And so we're gonna get picked up here. This is it. Take the pack off and then we're done. We've got an Airbnb reserved a little further north, what we usually do then on our last day, which is a Friday. That's our routine on Fridays, our last day. We go to hostel, Airbnb, something to spend the night together. We go out for a celebratory dinner. Very likely at this Airbnb, we're gonna actually cook up something on the grill, hamburgers and brats or something. We do have a vegetarian with us, so I'm not sure what she'll eat, but we'll accommodate whatever somebody wants. And then tomorrow, after we've all gotten a good night's sleep, and we're near an airport, you might be able to tell. After everybody's got a good night's sleep, then we drive home. We could drive home right now. We could get in the car and go. But we've been hiking for a week, and it just isn't safe, you know? Would we get it there and be okay? Well, yeah, probably. But we don't like to probably. We want to get a good night's sleep. We change off drivers sometimes, take breaks. This will be a 6-7 hour drive, so we'll take 3 breaks, stop at a Sheetz, maybe get a hot dog, get a Diet Mountain Dew, some kind of treat, and then finish up. And this time we're going to go past Youngstown too, because one of our people came from Youngstown, so we'll make a deposit in Youngstown, then head on back to home. So let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. One thing I'm looking for advice on. Our group is, I don't know, it's 20-25 people, someplace 10 or more come with us every year on this weekly outing. And we're looking for a section of trail, 50 to 70 miles, where it isn't northern Pennsylvania. Someplace where the trail's actually kind of fun to hike on. Doesn't have to be simple, doesn't have to be a boardwalk, doesn't have to be a perfectly groomed trail. But with the risky things where you slip, you fall, and hurt yourself. If we could find 50 to 70 mile stretch of that, I sure would like some advice. So leave your comments down below. Any questions or anything, let me know. Apologize for interrupting the video at this point.
while editing the video, I got a call that a family member passed away in Wisconsin, and I had to stop editing the video and then head up here to Wisconsin for the funeral and all the events that go around it, the dinners with family and all of that kind of stuff. So all of that's behind us now. And I still wanted to let you know that while I was recording the previous snippet, 2 of our guys fell, and I saw them a couple weeks after the trip. This is a month or more after the trip. I'm wrapping this up finally. They were both still wearing their age. One of them was wearing a boot because of the damage it did to his ankle. I'll show you his picture. And the other, I don't have a picture of it, but he still had a sling on from his wrist injury. So we took on some injuries on this trip. The trail was a little tougher than we expected. John's dad, son, and I both thought it would be a great YouTube moment if I just stepped away at the grave site and you could, in the background, see the cemetery and the session going on with the prayers and stuff. John's dad's wife did not think that would be appropriate. And so I'm long after the funeral now, and just want to let you see I can get dressed up and look actually fairly normal. So I'll return you to your regularly scheduled program.